one thing that happens if you haven't been single for a decade and you suddenly find yourself single again is you do find yourself desperately wanting to feel relevant again, you know, you want to feel sexy again in a way that I hadn't even realised I stopped caring about, you know, and I have found myself asking hundreds and hundreds of audiences now what they're doing with their pubes. They're clapping their pubes in Britain like that. What was that? Pluck 'em? Surely that advice could only come from someone with a mere 4 to 5 pubes. That is a deeply impractical top tip. If I ever met one, but I might give it a go. Thank you for the original take on what to do with them. I can't get a consensus, and now there's a new thing to add into the mix of options. As I understand it, generally, there seems to be, like, 2 schools of thought. There seems to be what I would call a sexually decisive feminist movement to go full wolf. Great. But I'm also told a lot of people under the age of 30 literally never heard of a pube. They're gonna need taken down to the Oldie Pube Museum to have it proven to them what a pube ever was. And they feel quite extreme as options, you know. It feels like someone's gone, well, you can do absolutely nothing or absolutely loads. I think, well, I don't know what to do absolutely. Well, have you met me? Absolutely nothing sounds manageable. Yum, yum, yum. But I want to feel sexy. That's the whole point. Is I want to feel hot, you know. I want to feel great at my bard. You know, there's got to be some boundaries to sexiness. Like, I like the idea of going full wolves. I'm absolutely fine, but I'm of an age now where it doesn't want to stay in the main triangle. What are the boundaries? There's got to be some hotness boundaries. Are there? What are the boundaries? What are they? What are they? What are the boundaries? What are the boundaries? What are they? Is it knees? I can sense I've made some of you feel uncomfortable. I can be more euphemistic. My Bellybeard Peninsula is making a very strong plate tectonic bid to join the mainland. Is that still hot? Is that hot? Even calling it a peninsula makes it sound too organised. It's patchier than that, more of an archipelago. Somebody might go on your honeymoon. No, I think when it comes to pubes, you should do whatever's going to make you feel snazzy about your body, even if that means pluck 'em. You might need to take a half day off to get through mine. I think you should do whatever's going to make you feel great about your bod, even if that means having a twat wax, by the way. I think you can have a twat wax as a feminist. Yes, I do, actually. I think you can. I think you can even have a twat wax as a pragmatist, potentially, because you could argue that you can get increased sensitivity, but then you could also argue that all music is always better on MDMA. You wouldn't want it to be the only way you could ever consume it. Just a little joke there for anyone who's come, not with their parents or colleagues. I think you can have a twat wax as a feminist, by the way. I think you can feel empowered all the way through it. If you don't know what a twat wax is, if you're like, what's she on about? It is quite simple, really. Buckle in. You go to a salon and someone there, it's normally a woman, she'll rip the pubes from your tuppence, not for love, just for cash. And that's the first bit that can feel empowered, actually, because you think, well, I can afford it, I feel empowered, thanks very much. Often you're supporting an independent, female-led business, you think, I feel empowered, thanks very much. Obviously, then you've got the fact that once you're in there, you've got to get naked in front of a stranger. Not fully naked, actually, she doesn't want to see your tits. Yeah, don't. I'm not advocating that, but no, you can feel empowered all the way through it. My point is, you've got to get your belly button, you've got to get your clam out in front of a stranger. I think that takes a certain amount of body confidence, actually, so you can do it. I feel empowered all the way through it. You can feel empowered all the way through it. Obviously, then you've got the fact that once it's actually done, you're going to feel for a little bit like a silky otter. I feel empowered. Not so much. Even during the bit where she's actually ripping the pubes out and it really hurts, you think, well, actually, it only hurts a bit. I'm strong enough to take that much pain. I'm an adult. It only hurts a bit. I feel empowered. You can feel empowered all the way through it. Until the bit where she says, now, roll onto your front. You roll onto your front, dear. It's never one of those beds that's got the lovely comfy donut for you to rest your face in, is it? You've always got to smush your face actually into the leather of the bed, haven't you, there? You can't risk leaving it out to the side like that, can you? Because then you risk eye contact. She says, now roll onto your front, doesn't she? And you do it. And then she says, now, madam, pop one hand on one buttock. And you do it, don't you? Are you listening? And then she says, put one hand on your other buttock. And you do it, don't you? And then she says, now, pull those buttocks apart. And you do it, don't you? I'm so sorry. And then she slathers the wax in there, doesn't she? And then, because that wax has got to set before she can rip it off, face in the bed, you, an adult who's paid for this, has to stay there like that, don't you? For ages. And during that bit, I am actually yet to meet anyone who does still feel empowered. And let me tell you, there's never been another sharper, more tangible time where I've ever thought perhaps it isn't an entirely good thing that I've got to a point in my career where I am occasionally recognised.